10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah! Drag racing fans, he knows it. From the great words of Mr. Stevie Ray, who was down in Houston at Baytown watching the NHRA drag racing this weekend. I was there live in person with a whole lot of rain. My shoes got wet, threw them in the dryer, got delayed in Minnesota, had to sleep on a couch there, but I made it back here for the Competition Plus Power Hour, where I am not alone. I have my soul brother, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. Lee, how is it going tonight?
Man, it is good down here in North Carolina. Glad that you had you definitely had at least a wet weekend in Houston, there at Houston Raceway Park. Man, give me the lowdown. What was it like at Houston Raceway Park for the NHRA Spring Nationals?
Man, it was a good time. It was a fun time flying back into, Texas is always good, as that is home roots for me. Had a really, really great time, but seeing the fans at the track, the interaction, Lee, when I tell you, man, that was epic. Even though the rain, there was a lot of time spent with different people, drivers interacting in the pit. Seeing, like I said, Mr. Stevie Ray. That video will be dropping on Outlaw Performance ENT very soon. But, tricky conditions. Are we going to race today? Are we not? Everyone getting excited. I got the chance to talk with Dale Worsham about, just some crew chief stuff as in a day like today. It was a good event. Sucks that I couldn't stay for Monday. But, man, let me tell you, I think everyone that was there and got to interact with fans, a couple of drivers doing what you would call the whack, the good old, throttle whack in the nitro pits, because they knew they had time to do that. So it kind of made it feel like an old school event with the delays, the drawouts. Watch kids running puddles, at the racetrack. A kid would usually be like, Dad, I want to go home. But it was raining and those little kids were jumping in puddles. One of our other guests was in the Ashley's pit that we're going to talk to later tonight. I got to see them. Their kids got to sit in Justin's car. Just a lot of different stuff. But, man, let me tell you, you did miss out on some good Texas food. Man, you know how we are, Lee. Yeah, I know you like to eat, and I know. But in the Davis pits with Justin Ashley, they made some brisket tacos. Whew, Lee. Out of this world, man. I don't know. The
Definitely.
rain,
Hey, look, I don't know if that was catered or not, if it was Sharon handling, if it was Sharon knows what she's doing. I know that.
Oh, yeah, she hooked it up. I mean, man, it just, like I said, getting to the racetrack, I don't get there as often as I would like to. I'm not there every week, but getting there, seeing, people, having people notice the show. Had a few people come up. Hey, Slam and Sam. Hey, how's it going? Took a couple of pictures with people. So that's always good. On the drive, I had a little bit of a drive both ways. Guess what I got to do, Lee? I listened to Competition Plus Power Hour on all the major podcast forums. So it was great going to the racetrack, listening to a podcast, even though it was us talking, and then leaving, listen to a podcast. I laughed at that Fletcher Cox one, man. That was just hilarious.
It definitely
still laughing
was.
to this day.
Definitely was. And look, it's good that you went back to listen. Maybe you've realized where you're wrong and I'm right.
About what? About what now?
Well, Sam, just, all of it, man.
Man, so wait a minute, Lee. We're skipping over some. I know I was at an NHRA event, but you were at a pretty badass event.
Right.
This past weekend.
Galot Motorsports Park, it's more than a drag strip. It's a concert venue. It is also a tractor pulling venue, 2-lane tractor pulling venue, mind you. The Galot Motorsports Park, the Stricklands, many may remember John Strickland, 2020 PDRA champ. If you didn't know, and you're like, why isn't he in the car this year? Well, his thoughts is basically, I got my championship. I'm good. I'm going to go back to tractor pulling. And dude, he's had like a Hall of Fame tractor pulling career. He has like 5 national championships, and he's won Louisville. He's won Bowling Green, like all the crown jewels. He's won them. But yes, I was at the Lucas Pro Pulling League tractor pull, super modified tractors out there, and super stock, and the mini rods. Man, they're like the fuel alters of the tractor pulling world. But yeah, basically the NHRA, NASCAR, IndyCar level of tractor pulling was there and got to film that. And let me say this, Sam. Let me say this real quick. You out there that are promoters, I'm looking at you. People who come with a camera and they film for their YouTube channel are not hurting you. They're helping you. Learn how to work with us. That's all I want to say.
Deep message, Lee. Get him. You can go on a rant.
Look, that's what I have been to three MAV TV events, and they are open to YouTubers. MAV TV. I mean, we're talking about like an international known channel. They're open to YouTubers and getting more content out there in motorsports. But then there's some streaming site at some local short track that's like, no, you can't film. What?
It's sad.
Bizarre. It's bizarre.
It's really sad. Man, Lee, like I said, Texas, everyone says it. Texas is totally different. Everyone does it bigger and better in Texas and all this. But man, I saw some fans out there, and if we could get this video up, I don't know if we can. It may be too late to do that. I'm working on it. But I saw a fan, man, that he had a shirt that said like fireworks in America and beer, the USA logos all over everything, the NHRA, farmer style hat. And he, and I happened to walk up to him, and I'm just like, man, what? Like, why this outfit? He says, because last year they took it away from me. This year, I'm going to make sure I get to enjoy it. And he said something else that I probably can't say on this show, but he's American as you know what. And it was just like that's what we all miss, right? Like,
right. At
the end of the day, you take away the rain, you take away the racetrack, the people that are there, they're normal people. Like,
well, most of them.
There's a select few, but we won't talk about that. All right, Lee. We get what else? I mean,
well, look, why don't we mention who we're going to be having on the show tonight?
Man, who aren't we having on the show?
Yeah, tonight? we got everybody on the show tonight.
Yeah, like aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins. Like, no, I'm playing. Man, we got Jeff Arend. Jeff Arend's going to come on here pretty soon, right?
Yep, and he's got some juicy information.
No, he's got juicy information, but I got some juicy information on him.
Oh, great. Oh, here we go. Okay. And instead of juicy, maybe it's wet information.
Yeah, I see where you're going there. Hey, I don't know if for all of our people out here that watches this, I really need a Bobby rant. I think if Bobby goes on a rant today, he called me a little bit earlier. The only rant that Bobby would go on would be that he got a speeding ticket today. He was a little pissed off about that. So I think that's the only rant Bobby would probably go on. Let's see. Cristobal Wynn dropped no news for us. Very disappointed in that. I went live when we were at the track, and said she thought about it, but she could find no good stories for us about Bobby. So that's hey.
All in all, look, we like to have dirt. We're messing with Bobby. Bobby's a great guy in all reality.
Very, very true. Speaking about people that were there, other than Stevie Ray, like I said, got an interview with him. For you guys that don't know, that is WWE or F. I don't really know which, genre, which one he was in, or
technically it was WCW, but that's been a long time gone.
Yeah. So he was there, man, and that guy is a ball of energy. And like he said, the people of sports entertainment need to give back to more people of sports entertainment. And what I took away from that is just like what we see with Greg Anderson and Henderson Motorsports, right? Like, give back to the people that are still doing something in motorsports, and even not just motorsports, other stuff. but I've always talked about that. Lee, what other? Let's talk some juicy news. What do you got?
Well, I have to say, what a shakeup in pro stock. Watching the broadcast, the heavy hitters either went out early or they didn't make it all the way, and a very interesting final round. And it must have been a very challenging track. You saw a lot of pro stockers having tire shake early on and cars getting single passes, as it were. And as we'll be talking with Matt Hartford later on, one of our guests, he cut some stellar lights and did it against OEE even and got a tiny hole shot win. So pro stock was definitely interesting. We don't have him on the show tonight, but man, Robert Height shows, along with John Force and with the way Brittany's running, John Force Racing is there, and they are going to be a force to reckon with in the fuel ranks, definitely throughout the year. And we will have Steve Torrence on, and got to ask, how does anybody stop him?
Man, that dude is on a year. He's just on a rail, man. It's ridiculous. But hold on, you talked about pro stock first. Dallas, Glenn, what? When I heard that, Lee, I'm standing in the stands, right before, so that would have been Saturday, right before the second rain showers come through that, end up pretty much canceling everything. And I'm standing on the top of the bleachers, taking some pictures and filming some stuff. And I hear, and Dallas Glenn goes to the top. And I'm thinking, what did he do? What did he change? And then without a beat, Alan Reinhart goes on the radio and says, or over the PA and says, I think he snuck into the shop, changed the stickers on his and Greg's car. And that's what's going on here. And I'm like, it's true. You come back out of last week and you win, and then this week, now here you go and you're number one. Hey, they figured something out, and he's got that car dialed in. But Steve Torrence, dude, unstoppable.
Yes, unstoppable. To your point with KB Racing as a whole, let me say that. I stayed back Monday after ZMAX, got footage, and Kyle Koretsky was testing a car, looked like an old Greg Anderson car. It was the burgundy with the, outline stripe is the way I'll describe it. Kyle was in it, and I'm sure they were trying to figure things out for Kyle, but I imagine they also were, hey, we get this data, will help all the teams. So look, they do not stop. They continue to keep trying to find performance, and Elite does it too. These teams do not rest on their heels. They stay up on their tippy toes trying to find performance and keep turning win lights on. It's going to be interesting when we get Steve on how he sees all this success right now, because it's interesting with Texas. It's not as dominating as people might think. Remember, round one, he didn't make it under power to the stripe. Final round, he didn't make it to the stripe under power. So he's caught some breaks at the right time. And as the old saying goes, I'd rather be lucky than good at times. But he's got a little bit of luck right now, it seems, if you believe in that. And definitely they've got the work ethic and the preparation to make that luck with as good as a team as they are.
And it showed this weekend as I roamed the pits, even though it was still raining. And I ran into Steve actually before I left, and he goes, "Hey man, when can I come on the show?" And I still do it. You have someone like him, or when Ron Capps was roaming the pits, and he walks up, he's like, "Hey Sam, how's it going?" It still catches you off guard because it's like, dude, you remember me? But no, his team was still out there. Rain was still coming down, and they were still out there working on the car. They didn't give up just because they had some weather. These teams were out there, and it showed, it doesn't matter which day it is. And I can honestly say, I think our sport is trending in the right direction, that every day is a day that someone else can be the number one dog. And if you take it lightly, it'll bite you in the butt. But it shows the teams that are continuing to find that hidden horsepower, to find, just that extra little bit to go when it counts the most.
Right. Well, look, speaking of weather and things that are wet and maybe some controversy, let's switch now to our insider who was in the pits there at Houston Raceway Park, Jeff Arend, right after this word from Competition Plus Apparel. And by the way, yes, I will put myself to the left.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
All right, Jeff.
Jeweler.
Slamming Sam.
There you go. Jeff, look, before we get into what you mentioned backstage, I've got to ask, along with 426 Hemi, when I was at ZMAX, I look into the Tim Wilkerson pit, and it's not a funny car. There was a top fuel dragster sitting in there. Quite noticeable. They're much longer wheelbase. So who in the heck was testing or trying to license in that Wilkerson top fueler? Looked like an older guy. I had never seen him before. So you got any dibs on that, man?
Well, I know someone did license in it, and if you'd asked me that before, I've been a little bit better prepared. But there's a big, I wouldn't say a big, but there's definitely a niche market out there for people that are looking to license in a quality top fuel or funny car. Back in the day, you had Paul Smith, you had a few other guys doing it. Now like Del Worsham's been doing it. I've worked with Del pretty often over the last few years with a funny car, a top fuel car. And the big advantage he has is that he's got a professional crew. He's got all the parts. So to make 3 or 4 runs in one day, especially like a test day, is very tough to do if you can't turn the car around in time. And some of the smaller independent guys that try and do it just don't have the parts and the personnel to do it properly. So I think Tim's kind of capitalizing on a little niche market there. Sorry, I don't know the guy's name, but anything that Wilkerson has is quality. He's got good guys working on it, just like a Dell deal. And anytime you get more people in the sport, it's a lot better. There's no doubt about that. Going into Houston, and I'm like a big NHRA proponent guy. I like NHRA. I think they do a good job. Could always be better, possibly. But for the Houston race, this year they have what they call 2-day races and 3-day races. And the teams plan accordingly for that. So if you have a 2-day race, there's no use flying everybody in on Thursday and having extra hotel rooms and rental cars and all that kind of stuff. And we know ahead of time if it's a 2 or a 3-day race. Well, for Houston, because the weather didn't look good, they didn't really tell us till Thursday. They said, hey, we're changing it to a 2-day race, which is not that big a deal, except that they cut the purse like 30%. So for a smaller team like the Duns that I work for, that's a pretty big hit. And, I don't think it's fair because you already booked your flight, your hotel, your rental car and all that kind of stuff, which when you have, 5 hotel rooms every night and rental cars, have 2 or 3 rental cars for the day and just everything that you plan on, it just adds thousands of dollars to it. And then to take away the qualifying money from like 9 to 7 or whatever it is, $1,000, that's a big deal for a smaller team. I mean, the big teams are going to race no matter what. So, I thought it was a little sketchy to do that at the last minute. Totally didn't agree with it. They did redeem themselves a little bit on Saturday when the weather didn't look good. They moved the qualifying session up, which allowed everybody to get at least one session in and part of the second session. So as far as the spectators go, I think that was a good move, but certainly didn't agree with the going from the 3 to the 2-day race. And I'm not the only one who thought the same thing, whether you had a big team or a small team. It's just I don't think it was the right thing to do. As far as the racing goes, obviously with the forecast of rain and everything, the NHRA guys did a great job of getting the track good. It was super tight. There was some fast runs. There was a 369 in top fuel. The winners, Steve Torrence, I mean, he's the man. I mean, it's hard to beat him. They got a lot of good resources there. He's a great driver. They got Billy driving as well. They got great crew. He's for a smaller kind of independent team with only 1 or 2 cars at some races. They are definitely the guys to beat. I mean, they come up with a good program. They do a really good job with their parts. So, if you have the money to spend on parts, if you hurt a cylinder head or a block or whatever, or you have a lifetime on how much you want to run something for, and you sell the stuff to half price to the smaller teams, which is an amazing deal. And that's why I think some of the smaller independent teams run better, because now they have quality parts. They're not getting parts that are all used up. So the Torrences are a big part of that. They're there to help anybody out. I mean, between Torrences, Laganas, everybody, they want to see everybody run good, and they're going to sell you good parts. They're going to help you with the tune-up, and it just makes the racing better for everybody, both the competitors and the fans. Robert Height, was good to see him race, after sitting out a year. Robert and I are pretty good friends. He's a super competitive guy, whether you're throwing darts or playing pool or racing a car. Robert wants to win, and that's just the way he is. And obviously they have a really good team over there, and it was nice to see him get a win. Matt Hartford, I mean, that was a pretty cool race, like you were talking about earlier. Some of the hitters, the more favorite guys, if you're going to say that, went out early in the race. So nice to see new people winning. That's kind of a cool deal. What else I got here? We got the March meet in May coming up this weekend. So if you like nostalgia funny cars, like everybody wants to see the big burnouts, the quarter mile stuff, the cars that don't look corporate. I mean, that is the race to go to. I've gone to it probably the last few years in a row, and it's tough to miss it. But I've done enough racing recently that I'm going to miss it this weekend. I'll sit by the pool and watch the video feed. But the March meet's always a good thing to go to, no matter if it's in May. And they got some nighttime racing there. Going to see some header flames. Great weather. You're in California. So the chance of having a rain out like Houston is between slim and none, and slim left town. So look forward to that this weekend, and look forward to watching it. Got a lot of friends racing there. And I think overall it's going to be really good. And when you get my buddy Steve Torrence on there, like I told you before, you just ask him about the Jace story, and he'll start laughing.
All right. Well,
hey, you got to answer this question. Yeah, Jeff, you want to answer that question that popped down, since no one wants to ever send you any emails to ask you questions.
Yeah, well, whatever. You tell me what the question is. I'm not smart enough to watch them when they come up.
How much does it cost to get your license?
So, if you're serious about going top fuel or funny car racing, you just can't hop into one of those cars with no experience. So, and we've done this a few times. It's a tried and true method. Go to Frank Hawley's first, do a super comp class first, and then see if you can drive that. And if you can drive that, then come and do the top dragster class, or the nostalgia funny car class if you want to run a funny car. That's going to give you some good experience in a car. It's like, between $1,500 and $2,000 for the super comp class. It's $6,000 for the funny car class or the top dragster class. It's a one-day private deal. You're the only guys on the track. You're going to learn a lot. And so it's around $1,200 a run. So if you're going to goof up a run or two before you hop in a top fuel or a real funny car, you goof them up on a $1,200 a run pass rather than a $8,000 run pass. If this is really your goal and you do good at super comp and you do good in the funny car or the top dragster, to move up to a top fuel or funny car for a day, it sounds really expensive, but it's really not. But you're looking at about $25,000 to make a half track run and 2 full runs, which is what you need to get licensed. With Dell, you have a quality car. We just had a guy come through, Jake, and he'd really only driven the super comp class at Frank Hawley's, driven the top dragster. Frank said he was really good at it, and he helped in Dell's top fuel car, made a competitive half track run, and he went 395 and 394. He made the 3 runs in one day. He got licensed, and if you talk to a lot of other guys out there, it's very rare to get licensed in one day, especially if you have a new car. It's next to impossible because you're working the car out as well as working the driver out. At least when you come over to Dell's, the car's already worked out. We have a good tune-up in it. It'll go down the track. It's not going to smoke the tires. And it's up to you to see how good you are when you're driving it.
Boom. There we go.
Great information.
Well, Jeff, look, thank you for being on. We know you're going to enjoy the rest of the show. We will let you go to enjoy your Coors Light and whatever cigar you've chosen.
Sounds good, guys. Good seeing you out at the races, Sam, even though you wouldn't talk to me, and it's all good.
Oh, baloney. No. I don't want to hear that. He was walking underneath in the staging lanes, right? And I yell, the jeweler. And he kind of does one of those like, who in the heck is calling me? And he looks up and he goes, oh, hey. And then I saw him a couple of more times. He was, just wandering around the pits, not doing anything, not working. Team was working on the car, but no. It's like
if you
all
ask the team, that's what they
aside.
say.
Oh, hey, somebody's got to be it, right? Everybody's got to be somebody. So
exactly. Have a great show, guys. We'll talk to you later on.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. So, Sam,
what's up?
There is still a matter of let me say wetness of Houston that definitely came to light in 2 social media posts. Samsel Racing, they posted from the top alcohol ranks that yes, they were in a terrible pit spot that was completely flooded after one of the showers for a top alcohol dragster.
No. I get it. There was some people that had it worse, but I'm just going to say this from my own experience, and I have a video that I could post literally right now. I was in Justin Ashley's pit when the storm came. Hands off to Justin Ashley and his family, the Davis Motorsports team, for bringing me in and letting me come in and kind of make house there and make that home. I know they do it for you too, Lee, but their bottom end guy, I felt the worst for. There was a flowing river flowing underneath the trailer right through, and he's got to go down there and take everything apart. Then the top end guy, the blower guy, he's working and he's standing out in the rain, and he's right at the edge of where the awning just splashes down on him. He leaves for about 2 minutes. He comes back and he's in shorts and flip-flops as it's raining. He says, well, if I'm going to get wet, I might as well have shorts on and act like I'm at the beach. So I get it. There may have been a couple other people that had it, but when your pit mat, like the little mat that you put down, is floating because the water is gushing down that way that hard. Secondly, if you were out there all day, like I was, and you walked in across any of the staging lanes where everyone was parked, your socks were wet. I got back to my rental car and squeezed the water out of my socks. So, not saying anybody had it worse than anyone else, but it was just pretty nasty out there across the board.
Now, see, that's a good report. It was bad for everybody. There you go. Yeah. Let me ask this. Pavement is better over grass, even with everybody being washed out. Did it look like there was plenty enough spots to get the alcohol guys moved in, or was there time? I've never been to Houston, so I don't know. Did it look like there was plenty enough room and they just didn't get moved in time, or what?
And I think that was kind of planning, how NHRA plans where they're going to have your T-shirts and where you're going to have food vendors and everything else. But honestly, there was a part where they had, a couple of Mopar cars. They could have scooted that down into that middle section. There was still a lot of room, but then I get it. You have to have enough room for when these cars are swinging around and different things. But honestly, I think there was enough rooms. Like if someone would have been like, hey, I'm in a terrible spot, and they could have moved a little bit, they could have moved. There was definitely room for that.
Oh, I know some apparently didn't ask. They just did move. Awning stayed connecting and all and just moved that thing.
Hey, do what you got to do, man. Like I said, when your bottom end guy gets down and he goes, whoo, that's cold. Feels like I'm in the river, boys. And he's sitting there and he gets up and his black shirt and his black pants look like he just jumped out of a raging river, it's bad.
Well, look, you talking about Greg Lynn. He's the bottom end guy for Davis Motorsports, Justin Ashley Racing. And I know one thing that would have made his mullet, the back of his mullet, just look spectacular. He must have been styling and profiling after all that.
Man, just a little oil and a little grease.
Yeah.
What did they say?
Yeah.
Tea tree, the little tea tree oil is what he puts in there.
Right.
Man, that thing was looking beautiful.
He needed some Soul Glow, and he would have been right.
Yeah, man, like I said, it sucks that had to happen, and granted, we all talked about it. Well, why didn't they just push it back till next week? NHRA is planning stuff, but then you have to remember, NHRA competing on a very busy holiday weekend and against NASCAR, it wasn't. Yeah. It's more than just, hey, we're gonna move this. There's other things. There's airtime. There's you have to play the cards right. So I know a lot of people may have been, well, why didn't they do this or why didn't they do that? But everything happens for a reason. And Nature, guess what? She controls a lot of things. So if she's unhappy and she wants to rain, but all in all, Houston, it was tricky for everyone. I think, even for crew chiefs, for drivers, it gave them a lot of time to sit there and think. And we're all human. And when you sit there and think and think and think, maybe you change one or two things. Dale said it. You change one or two things, and that could mess up everything. So you never, once you're in the hustle and bustle and you're, what the track is and you guys are running consistently, then things go good. When you have too much time on your hands, like I said, we're all human and we just think. So,
right. Yeah, man, folks that say things such as, oh, just move it the next week, they must have never planned an event in their lives, because you cannot just move. You can't even move a birthday party. What are you saying, moving a national event of the NHRA? Oh, just move it the next week. Whatever. You're out of your mind if you're saying something like that. And you're right. They would have been competing on Memorial Day with the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola or Coke Zero 600. And you not to mention, you would lose the TV time slot that you had, and we'd have another Atlanta situation where it's coming on at 11:30 p.m. So, folks, any of you thinking that way, try moving your 3-year-old's birthday party. That doesn't even work well, much less an NHRA national event. They got it in. They got it in on Monday. It's rough for everybody, but they can move on. Stan, I do want to answer your question. The Virginia date. Sorry, man. No further update concerning Virginia. It is still postponed. I can tell you this. I firmly believe Tommy Franklin, owner over there, definitely wants to have the NHRA national event in for the fans around the track and in the region for the Virginia Nationals. I'm sure they will do everything they can to work it out, but that's a state thing. That is not an NHRA thing. That is not a Tommy Franklin thing. That is not a VMP thing. That is a Commonwealth of Virginia matter.
Hey, Lee, I want to bring this up too because Lou brought this up. In September, my uncle that lives in, that San Bernardino area, he mentioned something about this too. I don't really know. So Lou, if they are changing fair dates, that just is not good. So dates is changing from May, not to September. Okay. So hopefully, like I said, on the West Coast, things are still kind of crazy with this whole coronavirus, and we're going to talk about a great marketing partner and ambassador in drag racing. So that's always good to have more marketing partners. Even if you want to be a marketing partner of this show, I mean, Lee and I get to yak it up. Hey. If you think that hi guys, but if you think that your company is a great fit here on the Competition Plus Power Hour, we would love to have you a part of this show. As I sip on my Monster Energy that can fuel me through this, who knows? That's free marketing right there from Monster Energy. But again, to all you guys out there, Lee and I preach this a lot on both of our shows, the Monday Morning Racer and Outlaw Performance ENT, hosted by me, Slam and Sam. Guys and girls out there, go and support the marketing partners we have in drag racing. Go and see why they're a part of this sport and help them continue to be a part of this sport. They obviously have a great return on investment and things like that can help their company grow, but continue to keep this sport alive and well. So without them, we wouldn't have the sport that we love today. So please, if you can do us a favor, go out there and, like their Facebook page. If they have a YouTube, like their YouTube channel, Instagram, give them thumbs up on their posts. Just go out there and support them so they continue to do it. So then that way our sport can continue to thrive and get new eyes on what we all love. So that was good.
It was good. Everybody, we are waiting on our first guest, so that's why we are still yakking it up here. But let's take the time and talk a little bit about PDRA action for the first time ever at America's racetrack, Summit Motorsports Park, a.k.a. Norwalk.
Man, that's Ice Cream City. Man, look.
Hey, speaking of ice cream, Thursday night, I'm not going to be there, sadly. They're having an ice cream social with all the PDA up in the grandstands. That's just cool.
Man, and that's what I was going to say. We had Mr. Bader here on the show. Just the way that they do things. Like he said, it's fans first. It's racers after that. Like, they put the forefront on making sure the fan experience is top notch, and then they make sure that their racers don't leave there. So for PDRA to roll in, like I talked about it with someone else here this weekend, is that our PDRA racers do not get the cameras in their face. So they're not used to, the love and everything. But if you get a chance as a media person like you or myself, or just as a fan, go out, support those guys and those girls, because they enjoy what they're doing as much as you would enjoy being at an NHRA event. And their pits are a little bit more relaxed. They're not on a dedicated time crunch like a lot of other things. They may have a little bit of flexibility in there. So, you can maybe, get a little closer to the car, ask some more personal questions. So just stop out. If you're in the Norwalk area, go out and support these guys and these girls, because who knows, there's a couple of those racers that you will see. And I can guarantee you this isn't like a Frank Hawley where I'm getting backed into the corner and going to eat my words, because I'm right now about that whole situation, by the way. But there's a couple of guys and girls that are going to be in NHRA very soon. JP, one of the initials, maybe CC, it's another initial. I can keep going down, but I'm pretty sure those two names.
Definitely, man. Look, the PDRA, they live up to their name, Professional Drag Racers Association. These people are professionals, though they may not be racing in the NHRA. Do you really want to walk up to Jim Halsey and say, because you're not running in the NHRA, you're less of a drag racer? I don't think you would want to do that. I don't think you'd want to say that to Jay Cox or Tommy Franklin, go say that to John Placino. Go say that to John. I don't think that's going to go over very well. So it's definitely a first-class outfit, and they have stellar, tight competition, and it's going to be great at the Norwalk to see them.
I don't think you could even get it out before Johnny Placino would come flying out of the trailer with a haymaker. I mean, that family is just from, being around them. They're so, a tight-knit family. But, man, like I said, we have to support the younger. We have to support, and I shouldn't say the younger, but we have to support that next level, because that's the closest level we have to, if someone goes out at the big dogs, you're calling in one of them. And there's a lot of people that have that shot. And I think with a little bit more funding, you'd see it. So
definitely. All right, look, we've got Mr. Torrence in studio backstage. Let's bring him on right after this break. Since we mentioned door cars, a word from Jerry Bickle, Race Cars.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Mr. Torrence, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit late. You know how it is. Sorry about that.
You're fine, right, man. No,
before we even get into any questions, I need you to scoot over just a little bit so I can see that elk that's behind you.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Oh, there's more. Look at that.
Where'd you shoot that thing at?
I shot the elk in Washington State. Here's my old friend Grizzly.
That's like you on race day. That grizzly bear.
Yeah. So I'm here
Man.
back in my man cave hanging out, and I've been out in the shop, so I just came in. I'm sorry, guys. I've been running behind today. It's been one of those days. You guys know how that goes.
Oh, we know how that goes. We certainly do. We certainly do. But look, honor to have you on the show. Thank you for being on the Competition Plus Power Hour. And look, let's start on a lighter note first. Got some heavy things to get to, certainly, but Jeff Arend wants us to ask about the Jace story. Jace.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say that on here exactly how it went, but Jeff and I were at a autograph session in Vegas on the Strip, and there just happened to be a guy that came up, and his name was Jace, and I mean it was a pretty normal name. I went to school with a couple kids that were named Jace, and obviously Jeff Arend had never heard of it, and he goes, "What kind of name is Jace?" And the guy was so embarrassed. I was like, "That's a normal name, Jeff. Shut up." And just kept signing. And I was writing the guy's name as fast as I could, trying to hand him the card, trying to not make him feel awkward. And Jeff, he didn't care at all. So typical Jeff Arend, but always a good time wherever he's at and whenever you're with him.
Yeah, those Canadians, we've learned you got to watch out for them.
You got to watch them.
All right, so I'm going to ask this question because you may have a little bit more insight. We had Frank Hawley back on the show, a couple of months ago. And I kind of, said it out loud that I think that the Smoke is going to make an appearance in a national event. Well, needless to say, I got back down into a corner, came to the next show with some bruises underneath my eye. It was a rough deal. On your opinion, what do you think is going to happen?
To be honest with you, I don't want to jump out there on a limb and say I think he is or I don't think he is. I don't really know Smoke that well, but I've gotten to spend a little bit of time with him at the racetrack and talk to him on the starting line. Super nice guy, and really have enjoyed it. I hope that he does. I mean, I think it would be great for our sport. I think it would be a lot of NASCAR fans that he has, I think, would follow over and come watch some drag racing. And I think it would be unbelievable for our sport. And I'm glad to have him out there. I talked to him a little bit about some of the runs he's made, and it definitely gives you a different perspective, or gave him a different perspective of what we do. I mean, it's not just hold the thing straight and go to the end. And he said, it's unbelievable how hard this thing accelerates, and especially from the 330 to the end. I mean, it's just happening so quick. But I don't know if he's coming out or not. I hope he does. I would love to see him out there with us, and I think we need more people to come out and race.
Well, speaking of making good runs, Steve, your team has definitely got your hot rod tuned up, and it's more like a rocket ship than any hot rod. So far, what has the year been like? And give us behind the scenes how much hard work goes into really making that car that good, because it just doesn't get off the trailer and run like that. You've got good quality people, good parts, and they're working their tails off to get you down the track in good shape.
At the end of the day, everyone out there can buy the same parts, the same pieces. We buy, thank you, Alan Johnson. We buy a lot of just off the shelf parts that we use. And it goes back down to the guys putting it together, the attention to detail that they do, and just the lack of mistakes. More often than not, what happens in a top fuel car, if you go up there and have a parts failure or something goes wrong, is just merely somebody made a mistake or you had a mechanical failure that could have been easily prevented. And so we have a very tight maintenance schedule, a tight rotation for parts that we put in and take out, and just Richard Hogan, he makes all the calls. He does the tuning. He is the guy that turns the knobs. But Bobby Lagana and Justin Crossland, those are the guys that are day in, day out at the shop, and help anybody that needs help, goes over everything that with a fine-tooth comb. And every one of those Capco boys, I mean, everybody wants to win, but not everybody knows what it takes to win. And so it's nothing that I do. I get in a great race car. I mash the gas sometimes on time, sometimes not, and try to drive it straight. But when you have the confidence of a car that's as good as what I have right now and has been for the last few years, you just go out there and try to execute and not be the weak link.
So on a weekend like, this weekend, rain delay, go up. I saw you standing there with Antron, and you guys were kind of going back and forth and talking. You guys have a relationship that's like no other, but you guys are brothers. And then once you guys get, in those cars, you guys know that, hey, he's in the next lane and he could take it from me and you can take it from him. But, going back to Vegas, you're sitting up on the top end, like, what is going on? Did I win? Did I not? Big weekend for you. Then you come into this weekend and you have to wait. You have to sit there and wait and wait. That waiting period from you, whether it's on the top end, wanting to know if you've won or wanting to figure out like, hey, am I going to race again? What does that waiting do for you as a driver and, as a person, really?
It's an emotional roller coaster. I mean, you're geared up for battle. Every round you're going to battle. You're going up there and doing everything that those guys do comes together on the starting line, and then the 3 seconds that follow, or the 3.5 seconds that follow. So they take a perfectly good race car, give it to me, and send me on my way and say, okay, we need you to take off first and we need you to drive it straight. And if anything screws up, don't mess up, get it to the end. And so you're geared up for that. You're mentally focused. And then here comes the rain and changes your program, and you relax. And then the next minute, okay, we're going to go run. And then it goes away. So a weekend like this weekend is just mentally taxing. And then it goes into Monday. I mean, I think I said it in my interview. I've never won a race on Monday except for Indy, and it's pretty cool. And by far one that has eluded us for quite a while was Houston. So to get that win, most importantly, was a big deal. But then also the way that it came and just having to endure the ups and downs of the entire weekend was what made it even more special.
All right, Steve, I think we all know here that for most people, they would think it's fitting you're actually wearing a black hat while you're on this actual live stream. And I've been waiting to get you on at the same time because I've got an interesting behind-the-scenes look all the way back to the incident at Pomona, because that was the first day I was ever doing social media with the team. I was actually helping Terry Haddock. But I've seen you since then be the first guy to come to Cam at Arizona, be the first guy to come to Cam at Indy when he was in the leverage car. Your team helps out Doug Foley. I work for Doug Foley. Your team helps out Leverage Racing. I've seen the tires and the wheels go over there. And it goes on and on and on. And you really shouldn't have that black hat moniker to you. And I just want to say this and give you an opportunity. For everyone that may not understand who Steve Torrence is, who is Steve Torrence? Because he's not the bad guy that everybody wants to make him out to be.
No, and, I hate that because I kind of have backed myself into a corner with the way that I've conducted myself in some situations. And, I still deal with that today. I mean, that was a couple years ago, 3 years ago going on. But that incident will be something that I'll have to live with forever. Cam and I we made it right. I mean, amongst ourselves, we made it right. I was in the wrong. I went over and told the guy, I said, hey, man, I was dead wrong. In the heat of competition, you say and do things that you wouldn't normally do. And I've tried to make it right across the board with everyone else. And some people choose to forgive you and some people don't. And I can't change that. As far as helping others, that's what we do. I mean, that's anyone that knows me, I'd give you the shirt off my back if you needed it. And it's even more so with Bobby and Dom Lagana and everyone else on the whole team, that Bobby came from a racing family that just got by, and I came from racing with Dexter Tuttle and having the opportunity to drive for that car. And that's what I told Cam. I said, I understand, I mean, what you were doing. I mean, I flew off the handle, but man, you're just going up there trying to win around. And it didn't look good on me, but I mean, it is what it is. And so we help Krista Baldwin. We put that car completely together for them and put it out there, and they ran quicker and faster than they've ever run. We did the same for Luigi Novelli over the off season, went through that whole entire car and got it back up and where it needed to be so that they can go out there and compete. We're trying to make the Top Fuel class as a whole better and strengthen the competition. And I don't want any credit for that. I don't think Bob or Dom or anybody else wants any credit for that. And people that are consistently knocking me and get on social and talk trash about what I do and what I don't do and how sore of a loser and all that, they don't know. And you just have to, at the end of the day, accept that and go on, because my dad's told me my whole life, people will forgive you for anything except for being successful. And you look back at Tony Schumacher when he won everything. It was because the guy had the best team and the best car and did a great job driving. It wasn't because they didn't deserve it. It's because they earned it. And somebody else is going to come in and kick our butt and make us like it. And that time is coming, and I don't know when it'll be, but when it does, we're going to have to deal with it. And right now we're just riding the wave of success, but you got to give back to this sport. I mean, there's not a lot of us out there anymore, and we're trying to grow it. That's why I said it would be awesome if Smoke would come in and race. And I think Leah's trying to teach him everything and get him up to speed, and he's doing good. So hopefully we see him out there. But, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate you noticing that, because we try to help everybody and keep everybody out there. If there's not anybody to race, then it's not fun for us or anyone else to watch.
Well, Steve,
I'm going to say
you
this.
and your entire camp, I commend you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to say this about that whole incident. Whether people like it or not, it was good for the sport. It was something, one, people talked about it. No, honestly. And two, it showed raw emotion. How many times do we see John Force up out there and I was this and bleep, bleep, bleep? How many times does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, we need that kind of stuff in our sport. And hey, it happened. We move on. But
we definitely do move on, because we lost Steve.
We do. Yeah, he's like, that guy likes it. I'm gone. But we appreciate you, Steve, for coming on.
He may be back. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Look, let's take a break
great
and bring Matt Hartford in. We got him in studio, and we'll see if Steve pops back in or not. So break, bringing in Matt. Matt Hartford, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Man, doing great. Congratulations on the win.
Well, we appreciate it. It was it's been a long time coming. This season's been rough for our entire Total Seal team, but I think we kind of rebounded in Houston and got a lot of momentum going to Epping.
Usually people would say, how does it feel to be a champion on Sunday? But for you this week, how does it feel to be a champion on Monday?
Well, I'm waiting to be a champion on Monday at the U.S. Nationals. That's where I really want to win on Monday. So we got a few more months till we get to that point. But, I've raced on Monday before. I raced in Charlotte in 2019 against Derek Kramer. We lost by, slight margin of victory. And so there's a little bit of redemption going into this weekend on a Monday. Had to run Derek again. And this time the win light came on in our lane. So, we were really happy about that.
All right, so I know that NHRA doesn't like the classes to mix on track, but we're going to bring Steve back in, a little Top Fuel, a little Pro Stock at the same time. And in general, what was the track like for Top Fuel for Pro Stock? Because, man, they had the whole mop crew out there on Monday. I've never seen so many people on a track with mops. I mean, it looked like a bunch of janitors out there. So what was it like? It looked like it was pretty challenging for Pro Stock. We'll start with you, Matt.
Well, we were sitting back watching the one pair of fuel and then all the funny cars and our, what we were thinking about as far as lane choices, which lane had more mops going off, who was mopping the right lane, who was mopping the left lane, how many people are in each lane. The starting line was killer for first round. But, we chose the left lane first round just simply because we've seen a lot of people mopping in the right lane. And to us, we thought it was a little wetter down there. We were trying to watch any rooster tails if we seen it. Obviously we know that Houston brings up a lot of water, but they did a great job of getting that track dry and keeping it safe. And in between every pair, they got it nice and dry. So overall, the track on the first several rounds was killer.
All right. What was it like for y'all on Top Fuel there, Steve?
Same thing. I mean, the left lane was our favored lane for the day. We were able to have lane choice going into the second round for the bye, and went out there and threw down. We're able to go 71 on that bye and then 70 flat in the semis against Clay, and overpowered the track a little bit at the end of the day and smoked the tires in the finals. But fortunately, Doug did the same thing pretty early in the run. But typical Houston. I mean, I've been racing at Houston since I was 16 years old, racing Super Comp, and you go there and you know that you need to have a sweatshirt and maybe a pair of shorts, and you don't know which one you're going to have to wear, and maybe both in the same day. So like Matt said, you go out there and you're watching the seams, you're seeing if there's any vapor or mist that comes up, anything that's out there, and they're mopping the thing all day long, trying to do it the best they can. And then the other thing is the track's rough, so it's bumpy down there, and even though the left lane was the better of the two lanes for us traction wise, there's a big bump in that thing right before the finish line, and it just something you got to navigate.
So talking about what you just said, for you guys, I know it's not racing related, but what was the best fan outfit you saw this weekend? I know for myself, I saw a couple of guys wearing the shorts with muck boots, the fishing shirts. Like, what was the best combination walking around the pits where you're like, what is that guy thinking? And then when it started raining, you're like, he's familiar with it.
No, I think the best thing I've seen all weekend, there's two. One, I've seen people floating down the lazy river in front of the stands on their inner tubes. And two, the guy in the Roland Leong funny car golf cart or the driving around, and he was drifting that thing all the way. He just kept going past our pits, drifting it. They were loving the rain. We all wanted it dry, but the fans were making the best of it. They hung around, and hats off to NHRA and Seth for, on Sunday afternoon, they said, listen, come Monday, come one, come all, no tickets needed. You want to come out, bring your friends. There's no gate, no entry. We want anybody and everybody that'll come out. So that was hats off to NHRA.
Absolutely. I agree. I did miss the lazy river, Matt, but I did not miss the Roland Leong funny car with the sparklers in the headers as he was driving by. So it was the attention to detail that the guy took was unbelievable. But the fans were awesome. I mean, they came up and they were talking to us in the pits, and they were like, hey, we're going to stay until they tell us not to, because we're here to watch everybody. And I mean, NHRA did the best they could. I mean, there's really not a lot you can do when it's raining, and I was proud of them. I mean, I think they handled it well, and we put on a good show, as good as we possibly could, and got it finished up yesterday. I think it started raining about 15 minutes before the final, and I told my guys, I said, we need to get this crap done or it's going to get wet. So good race day.
Yeah, they came over to do pictures afterwards. We were trying to get done with the champagne, and good job of not getting champagne on our driver's seat. Nikki is covered in it, just so you know. I think
that's okay. Those are easier to wash than the fire suits.
Yeah, but they came over to do photographs after, and we had the engine out of the car, front end off. Our whole car was torn apart because we wanted to get out of there. And he says, hey, we need to do some pictures. I said, what do you need? He says, what do you want? I said, well, what do you need? He says, I need one with you, a Chevy hat, and one with a Pennzoil hat, and one with a Camping World hat. I said, all right, let's get these three and we're out. Yeah. So, everybody wanted to get out of there. It'd been a long weekend. The rain makes it hard for everybody, a lot of standing around.
Right. Well, aren't you glad that you weren't racing in the rain like NASCAR was?
Yeah. I actually set up in the lounge and watched probably the first 20 laps of that race. And yes, that's my dogs in the background. I got 3 Dalmatians that think that they want to help this interview here. So, but I watched the first like 20 laps of that. And let me tell you, I agree with what some of the drivers said. If I was in their shoes, I would not want to be in those cars. That to me just did not look like an environment that I'd want to be in, coming up on somebody that you don't know what's ahead of you and you can't see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's all we need. Top Fuel rain tires. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's
So for you, Matt, your class, like Pro Stock a couple of years ago, people said, "Oh, this class is done. It's dead." Now you've got younger guys coming up in this class. You know, Dallas Glenn getting his first win and then coming back this and being number 1. Like, how does that feel to know that in just a short turn that class has taken a steady uproar?
Well, the one thing NHRA got right was that they actually they moved the rev limiter down to 10,500, which, you know, guys like probably Jason Lyon will say that, you know, that wasn't a good thing for the class because it took development out. But what it did is it lowered the cost. And so now with lowering the cost, you can get guys to come in and lease engines and lease entire programs. Bruno Massel, I mean, one of the announcers, you know, he can come in and rent a ride for the whole weekend and have a car that he's actually really competitive in. And, you know, we had 21 cars, you know, on property for a 16-car field. And then you look at Fuel. I think Fuel and Funny Car, if they had 16, I know one of the classes didn't have a full field. You know, that says a lot for where Pro Stock is and where it's going. And we got a lot of cars coming to Epping. And I think right now, and maybe Steve would disagree, but I think it's just Pro Stock is the strongest class in NHRA, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
I'm not going to disagree. I think that there's a lot of people coming into that class right now, and especially in the Northeast, that's a very strong class there. So I think that you guys are going to have a huge following up there, especially.
Yeah, you know, when we look at it, I mean, you know, you get up into the Northeast, and obviously Epping is going to be it's going to be a fun track to race on. It's kind of going to be like Houston. You know, it's not going to be the smoothest track we've probably ever been on, and it's certainly not going to be the largest track we've been on. You know, we won't go to Charlotte; it's huge. We go to Houston. You know, in the left lane, I think about 800 feet, you hit a deer. You know, it's so bumpy down there. But it's,
exactly.
I don't know what it feels like in a fuel car, but in a Pro Stock car, it feels like it's knocking the front end out from underneath you. And you know, but still, it's a fun track to race at. I've won there twice. I won there in 2018. I won there this year. And, you know, we're looking forward to Epping, and it's just a whole different environment, a lot of trees, a lot of Northeastern fans that don't come to any race but Epping. So it's going to be fun up there.
We got a lot of fans that come and bring lobster on Friday night. So we always eat a lot of lobster. That's what I look forward to going there is the food.
Yeah, it is national.
Everybody, yeah, oh, yep. And everybody makes fun of the way I talk, but I get to make fun of the way they talk too. They all sound like Bob Tasca.
Hey, Lee.
Yes.
Lee, I think we need to go to Steve Torrance's pits on Fridays.
I agree. I think that's where I'm going to be.
And then after that, we can go over to Alexis DeJoria's pit because, man, I can tell you when they said, "Hey, we're done," I think there was just a little bit of, you know, adult beverages being sampled over there. So, hey,
no,
you know, you
not
just
at all.
make your rounds and you know.
I don't think Nicky would allow that. I don't think he would say that that's acceptable.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely so. Well, look, Steve, my last question for you, and then we got a couple for Matt just with him. Your dad, how many races this year? I know sometimes he's done part-time. What's it look like so far? What's the thoughts on with your dad and running Top Fuel?
Honestly, you know as much as I do. And actually, only he could answer that question because it changes from day to day. He'll call Bob and say, "Hey, I'm going to Epping." And between now and then, he'll say, "I'm not going to Epping." So at all times, we have the second car ready to go. We have that team there ready to go. And when he decides to go, we go. So he's doing good. You know, he struggled a little bit here in the last couple races, but he's doing a great job. And these things, I think anybody that drives any kind of car will tell you at first you do pretty good because you're concentrating so hard on what you do. And then the more comfortable you get in the car, you tend to make mistakes because you are a little bit complacent and you're concentrating on something else, maybe only your reaction time or maybe only your staging. And so he's struggling a little bit in some of those areas right now, but that's just going to come with a little bit more seat time and experience, because you look back and he's raced for quite a few years in Super Comp and 3 or 4 years in the Top Fuel car now, but never just consistently week in and week out. And that's what it takes to be comfortable in one of these things. And I think Matt would tell you the same thing in a Pro Stock car. There's no replacement for seat time.
Yeah, and another question for both of you guys, since we got you here. For you guys, being in the sport, seeing the direction it's going, how do we get the younger generation to get off the video games, even though NHRA is coming out with a video game? How do we get them off the video games and want to, or experience that driving the car, or the kids that want to drive it? How do we give them that next step to becoming the future of NHRA?
Go ahead, Matt.
That's the hardest thing that we deal with every day, is because, back when I was growing up, we had carburetors and we had points distributors, and, everybody knew that you set the points with a matchbook cover. And today, if you ask anybody that's, 16, 18, 20 years old, what's a distributor, let alone what are points in a distributor, they have no idea. The only thing about Pro Stock that's really helped the younger crowd is we went EFI. So having at least a laptop that, we program the cars with, that's intrigues some of the younger crowd. And I think, all the boosted engines out there and all the other categories and some of the fast bracket racing with the big money payouts, I think that is bringing in some of the, maybe the 18, 20, 22-year-olds. And as they start competing in these levels, the one thing that they're going to want to do is they're going to want to be on national TV. They're going to want to watch themselves on Fox, on Sunday Night Live. So that's where I think the draw is. And with Pro Stock, especially, we've brought the cost down to where you can get into a car on a weekend. So they can go from a fast bracket car to a top sportsman car to national event and get into a Pro Stock car. Now, getting into a fuel car, I don't know that that's an easy step for the younger generation, but I think at least with the NA stuff, and because it's EFI, it gives a little bit of a window for them.
Yeah, and it's definitely a harder sell to get someone into the fuel class other than just liking what it is. I mean, it's the most raw, just muscle flexing, face peeling power there is, and we all struggle to control it. But there's no way that you can interest someone that comes out of Comp Eliminator or bracket racing or any of the sportsman classes to a Pro Stock car. You can relate to it, and it's actually something that looks like a vehicle that they have, so there's interest. But as far as a fuel car, I mean, it's the most extreme of all, and only getting someone there, letting them see it, feel it, smell it, and get that experience, can you interest them in it? And it's been a hard sell. I mean, it's the fans that we have, their parents, their grandparents, they're drag racing fans, and they've been introduced that way. And so hopefully this video game will help. And then, I'm not the kid anymore. I'm not the young guy. I'm not Justin Ashley. I'm not Austin Prock and Jordan Vandergriff. And so it's more on those guys a little bit, because as much as I hate to say it, I'm kind of one of the older guys now of the class, and it's, AB's 44, 45, and I'm 38, 39 soon. So, or not soon, I just turned 38, but I'm not the young gun anymore. Those guys are out there picking on us, and Justin is definitely chopping us down at the tree. But we're trying to market it better and just bring more attention. But I don't know. I'm going to lay it on the young kids to do it.
Well, there you go. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks for that. We understand that you've got a lot going on. You've got some traveling to do, so we don't want to hold you too long, but we truly appreciate you coming on, talking about it. And, who knows? You keep going in the direction you're going right now, you'll be holding up another championship trophy. And, that's what it's all about, and that's what you're working hard for. And who knows, maybe Bobby Bennett can set up something so you and I can go hunting shoot a little bow, maybe some rifle, and we can have a competition plus hunting
Shootout.
off-season show. There you go. See, I like Steve. Bobby, make it happen.
Thank you guys for having me on. Matt, congratulations. Great job this weekend. It's always fun to be on here. I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, Matt, I've got one question that's been on my mind ever since you bought Total Seal, you're driving Pro Stock and all of that. After the end of a race weekend, there's a lot of things to check. Are you most interested in the piston rings at the end of a weekend? I've got to ask, being the guy who owns Top Seal. Total Seal.
The thing I'm most interested in at the end of the weekend was trying to get back on a flight. I got home about 11:30 last night. I was in the office by, just after 5 this morning. My focus is to get back to the office and make sure everything's running smooth. We got customers all over the world. And, whether it's Formula One, whether it's industrial, whether it's Top Sportsman, Top Fuel, or Pro Stock, these guys need their product to get out the door. So, my goal is to be there, make sure that the production's running smooth, sales is running smooth, and and hopefully when we show up the next race, we can stuff a good motor in the car and go out and win again. So it's not about the individual ring in our car. It's about making sure that the company's running smoothly, for everybody around the world.
And that's what it's all about, and that's got to feel better when you have, say a customer come to you at the pits and they say, hey man, I'm running your stuff. It's running great. Like, do you get a lot of testimonials like that? And then for people to say like, man, you're out here doing it, but yet you're producing a great product, and it shows through the performance.
Yeah, the one thing about being out at the track is you have to understand that our main customer base is the guys that we race against, and not just Pro Stock, but all of racing. So it doesn't matter if you're at a NASCAR track, a drag race track, an open wheel track. It doesn't matter if it's a dirt late model. When you're out in the pits and you can sit there and talk to the drivers, the engine builders, the people who are putting the parts together. That's where you build a lot of rapport and you get a lot of relationships, and the relationships are hard to beat. So, just this weekend, there was one of the fuel teams I sat down with during the rain delay, and we talked for probably an hour, and they were like, wow, I didn't realize that we could do that. Can you bring some stuff for me for Epping? I want to put it in the car. So it's, being out there is very key to meet people and develop the relationships that maybe you didn't have.
So when it comes to rings, what's the smallest that you produce and what's the largest that you produce? Because you mentioned industrial, and I mean, man, pistons in an industrial capacity can just be mammoth compared to what's in your average internal combustion engine. So yeah, smallest ring to biggest ring. What do they look like?
So if you're talking bore diameter, we build stuff all the way down to a 1/2 inch in bore diameter, which would go into like a 4th stage air compressor. And largest, like for instance, we do stuff that's, could be upwards of 18, 20 inches, but we have a large order going out today, and it's going to Egypt. And I believe that they were 12.5 inch in diameter. So there's, it's not uncommon to see anything from, under 1 inch to over 10 inches for sure. But the majority of our business would be between 3 inches and 5 inches.
Man, that's a big ring.
Wow.
It is.
That is huge.
One of them you couldn't fit on your pinky, and one of them you could fit around your neck.
Wow.
Wow. Alan Reinhart, the announcer, he came by for a tour, I don't know, a few months ago, and we gave him a tour, and he was like, he had no idea. And I invite you guys, if you're ever in Phoenix, come on by. We'll take you on a tour, show you. We'll do the how it's made video for you.
Sounds good to me.
Bobby, make it happen. ×2 on this episode.
He's in South Carolina. It's not that far of a drive.
Right. It's not. Definitely not.
So it's got to feel good, rolling down to maybe Vegas or something like that. I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. You can, leave a little later than most teams, and you're right there, especially being in Phoenix.
Yeah, we're looking forward to some of these West Coast races again when they come up, and there's not that many of them anymore. We tried to, you would think that a nonstop flight from Charlotte, last weekend back to Phoenix would be easy, But, we got up to about 28,000 feet. Pilot said we had an emergency landing. We immediately went down, stopped on Atlanta's runway, and spent 24 hours in Atlanta to get home to Phoenix. So, we're about over the East Coast races for a little bit. Once we get through Epping and Norwalk, we're hoping to, get back out on our side of the world.
Wow. Well, that's a journey, man. Man, that is a journey to get back to Phoenix. Wow. The joys of modern day travel. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. It's all good.
I couldn't imagine that. Like, I flew from Minneapolis to Minot. We got right outside of Minot, did 9 laps. And then the pilot's like, no, we're going back to Minneapolis. I'm like, dude, we're like 10 minutes away. Like, just kind of land, please. Spend the night in Minneapolis, wake up 7:45 in the morning at the airport to try and do it all over again. So I couldn't imagine. I know what the flight situation's like, but it's, yeah, like you said, it's got to be nice to have some of that stuff on the West Coast to get you at least somewhat close to back home. But what's your favorite track? Where's somewhere that you look forward to going every year because maybe a food or they have a cool place that you like to go and visit? What's something that's like really special to you about a racetrack?
I would have to say that one of my favorite tracks to race at, and unfortunately Pro Stock's not going this year, is Denver. And one of my other tracks that I really love to go to, just because we have a lot of friends in the wineries up there, would be Sonoma. And Sonoma's a beautiful, the facility's great. The people's great. There's all kinds of places to go and before and after the races, whether you're going to San Fran and have some good, seafood, or you go up into the wineries after the races. But this year, without having a Western swing, we're missing the Denver, Sonoma, Seattle. And all 3 of those were always, really fun. And we're going to miss them this year. Hold on. I got a special guest for you. Come here.
Ooh, we like special
bringing
guests.
it on.
Oh, yeah.
Doggy.
You got 3 of them going. This is my youngest puppy right here, Scarlett. She needs some TV time. So we figured, she says, if I'm going to be, a hellion and run around here and cause havoc, I'm going to get on TV. You don't want to watch?
There you go.
There we go. Competition Plus Power Hour, doggy.
There you go.
All the wives right now that are sitting next to their man listening to this, you just won brownie points. So you probably have about 50 new race fans out there. They're like, oh my God, he has Dalmatian. Like, we need to go and see him so we can talk to him about the dog. So kudos to you for doing that.
3 of them. So definitely. They're, we got one in 7-3 and a year basically. So we got some hellions.
Wow. Well, there you go. Well, Matt, look, it's been great having you on Competition Plus Power Hour. Sorry if we seem like we're rushing. We're a little bit behind schedule, but we got to move on. We're going to let you go enjoy the rest of the evening and, corral the Dalmatians.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate it and look forward to seeing you at the track.
Definitely. Thank you, Matt.
Yes, and congratulations again on the win.
All right,
yes,
buddy.
Sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, look,
Man.
Sam, we're going to play your video of this great fan. And during playing that video, we're then going to bring on Viktoriya with Smart Sanitizer and Justin Ashley. So video and our guests.
Yep. So here, how are you liking it out here in Texas?
Amazing, man.
What drives you to come to NHRA drag racing?
The people and the cars, honestly.
Explain why this outfit here at the drag races.
No explanation needed, honestly.
No explanation needed. Like, man.
That was all America. Is what that
America.
was.
Man, so I tried to get this video of Justin posted of his rain dance, but that video will be coming out very soon on Outlaw Performance ENT. And man, it feels like what? We're 48 hours from when I saw you last. How's it going?
What's going on, Sammy? Hey, Lee, how you doing? Thanks. Thanks for having us on, guys. It was a rainy weekend. We definitely did some rain dance in there to try and keep the rain away this time around. And I'm glad we got through the race. I'm glad we finished the race on Monday. And that's it. We're on to Epping, on to the next one.
Definitely. Well, look, I had y'all on Between the Slicks Thursday night. My show comes on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last week. Good to have you here, Viktoriya. your
Hi,
second
guys.
drag race. What did you think? You got the rain delay and washout in. You've got the full experience from ZMAX to Houston Raceway Park.
I know. Hi guys. I actually was listening to the whole show. Was very interesting to, to learn more about racing and about the whole racing world and about, drivers and winners and how's that going. So it's like really, really interesting. So very excited. How is my experience in Houston? I mean, it's completely different from the one, opening and debuting our smart sanitizer at Charlotte. Of course, that was, amazing, unforgettable. We had amazing time there. Me and my business partner, co-founder, Michael Healy. But in Houston, I mean, I brought my family. Yes, those amazing images right there. Very excited about that. But when my family saw us in Charlotte, they really, really wanted to go with me to next race. So I'm like, sure, let's go, guys. Let me show you around. And Justin and his family, were a great host, hosting us there. We're like this big happy family, dysfunctional a little bit because my kids were, not exactly behaving. They were a little bored. What can I tell you? It's raining, so well. But when they saw the first run, the one Justin won, they were so excited and they wanted to see more. So we were waiting and rain, but unfortunately, how that went. And we were not able to stay on Monday since we had, some commitments. But I'm happy the race was able to, to resume on Monday. So we are looking forward to another race and, for looking forward winnings, of course, with our, Justin Ashley, the best spokesperson and cool kid on the block, right? Super excited.
Don't build them up anymore now.
Viktoriya,
did you see his smart sanitizer dance moves? I mean, come on. How can you beat that? How can you be more creative than that?
So first, Viktoriya, speak about that experience. I watched your kids get that experience of sitting in Justin's car, and you came over and they were sitting in the tent, and you're like, "Hey, come on, we're gonna get you in the car," and they were like, "In the car?" And you're like, "Yeah, come on, you can go and sit." So for a kid to experience that, I know what it's like. That's one of those greatest things. And like you said, Justin is a great spokesperson and a great example in our sport. But Justin, I got to put you on the spot right now. I need you to scoot that fancy chair back. You need to show the world a little Justin Ashley dance moves right now. I mean, everyone wants to see it. So just go ahead and
look.
Give us a little second. Come on.
More sanitizer.
Right now
on the Power Hour.
I did the dance once, and never in my life did I think that it was going to blow up like it did. It was unbelievable. We talked about doing the sanitizer dance, and I guess it was a big hit. So I guess now that I'm kind of live here, I'm going to have to show it to you, right? So we know that more so than anything else, right? It's just bear with me here. You gotta bend your knees a little bit like this and stick the chest out like this, right? Because we know the importance of form in dancing. And then you bring the hands up here and you just go right here. Right here. You sanitize right here, and you got to make sure to wipe it away too. So you sanitize right here and then wipe it away. That's how it's done, guys. Just like that.
That's awesome. That's brilliant idea. I mean, I love that. We should have the trend, like who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it better?
I think we need to do that. I think we may have just left Lee speechless though. So hopefully there's still a show to go on.
Justin, look, since I know you pretty well, and I've gotten to know Amanda well. Also, I hadn't even watched the 1,000 feet walk. I can't bring myself to do it. I just can't do it. And then I see this little clip of you dance. I'm like, nope, look away. Look away. What is going on here?
We listen, I'll be the first to say my dance moves definitely need some work, but I don't know. I think Viktoriya, I think it came out pretty good, right? We made out all right.
Amazing. The most creative dance ever. With smart sanitizer, right? We need to sanitize.
That's what it's about.
Be a little bit safe, on the safer side. Better safe than sorry, you guys.
Definitely. Well, look, Viktoriya, I've got a video of the product that your company produces. So let me play the video, and then let's give you some time to explain what in the world it is and what makes it different from just going up and hitting a pump handle.
Oh, nice video, guys.
Lee, where'd you find that music? We should get Justin to dance, get a little floating character of him dancing.
Back on the side, like a little entertaining.
Yeah, that's right.
How it's all done.
If y'all could only see when I'm going through the YouTube video library, the audio library, like I'm in the chair, I'm like, oh, I like that. Yeah, that's going in the video. Yeah.
That's so funny. No, it looks great. I mean, Justin and his team did amazing job putting, like the whole pit looks amazing. The sanitizer machine looks great, and the whole hauler picture of him and the sanitizer. I think it just, the whole pit is very exciting. So, I'm inviting all the fans, of course, when they are at the race, please stop by at Justin's pit and try our smart sanitizer, and just judge for yourself when you see such a attractive, because I think our smart sanitizer is really attractive. It's modern, innovative. It just, you want to try, you want to see what it does, what can it do for you, right? So when you approach it, first thing you do is you place your personal items and like wallet and phone. As everybody knows, our phones are, the dirtiest things, because we're bringing to places where we should not bring them, right? And you place them there, and then you will just, put your hands inside the sanitizing machine, how Justin showed, and then you sanitize your hands, right? With a light spray. While you're doing all of on the screen, LED screen, and you are watching different advertising. And our sanitizing machine is different because it's not just sanitizing machine, it's a profit center. We advertise on our screen, and it's a perfect for supermarkets, for shopping malls, for where a lot of people gathering, for maybe casinos, and where on our advertising platform you can advertise your newest product, your newest maybe show that you're gonna show. And it's all operated with our in-house brilliant app that was designed and made by my co-founder of Smart Sanitizer, Michael Healy, and his company, Tango Systems. We are actually launching it really soon. So we are very excited about it. It's Smart Sanitizer app. And all the magic happens through the app. It's super user-friendly for customers and for business owners who will be able to download their advertising and actually see how many people downloaded or downloaded coupons. For example, in supermarket, when there's advertising on products, they can scan and they can have a coupons. So we are not just sanitizer, even though our name is Smart Sanitizer, but we are profit center for your company, and we want to help businesses that's struggling to generate additional revenue through our advertising center. So please visit our website, smartsanitizer.com. We have so many exciting other products that's coming out. One of the the most recent one is the food sanitizer. And I actually just received my first prototype, which I'm super excited about. And my 8-year-old actually said, "Oh my God, mommy, it's so cool. It's like an Apple product. It's very modern and cool looking." So I'm very excited to bring that to the market sometime soon. So stay tuned and follow us for new exciting, ideas. As Matt mentioned, as Matt said, your previous guest, that being a part of the racing, community, it's all about socializing and finding different partners or partnering with different companies. I was actually at Houston, very lucky. I met a guy. His name is Tom. He is from Varigard. I just had actually a Zoom meeting with him, this morning, and it's a new product, sanitizing gel that's actually made out of organic polymers. So we're thinking to partnership with them because I really think that this product it's innovative. It's something that's newest thing on the market, and it will bring our partnership to another level of being super innovative. As our product is out there, and I want to partner with people who are like thinking out of the box and want to bring to the market the newest thing, the most exciting things. So you guys, hopefully you can stop by at Pitts and try our smart sanitizer with Justin.
There we go. Sam, did you use the kiosk?
That was the first thing I did. So I walk up and I see it sitting there. And like you said, it's very attractive, right? Everything in our world, and Justin, you can attest to this, in drag racing is usually black. Like everything, it is. I mean, if you go to PRI, everyone's wearing black pants, a black shirt, a racing shirt, and black Vans. I mean, it's very uniform. But you see this sitting there, it's got decals, and you got people walking up to it. And I kind of just stood back because there was a few people there, and they're walking up, and they're like, "What do I do?" And they look, and they can put your keys in there. So of course, I had a rental car. I throw my keys and my phone in there, and it gives it just a quick little mist, and you're like, okay, and you wipe that down. Now you put your hands in there, and you're like, it kind of catches you off guard because you stick your hands in, you're like, what am I going to expect? And then it's done. And it's so nice, and it's totally different. And like you said, having the vendorship, that does not only bring you guys into the market, it gives other people outside, because now people are engaged. And in society today, you have 5 to 10 seconds to capture someone's eye. After they see it, you've got their attention. So now they're looking at this screen and they're sanitizing, a few different things. And that's what we need, is people just to slow down, take a little bit of time and understand what's going on. And like I said, after using it and seeing people come up and what is this? And, one of your guys, Justin, was standing right by there and he was explaining it to them, and people felt comfortable. So I think you guys do a great job with it. But I also saw this, Lee. So we're going to put you on the spot, Lee. Okay. Mike Ashley wants you to get on a bike. So I think you pretty much have to do anything he says. And he says he wants to see your rendition of the sanitizing dance. So, I mean, we're already having fun on this show. So, Lee,
I don't have the setup to easily get up, and I still have the remote, the mouse in my hand. So I will forego. We'll have to work something out at Epic. Me and Justin can do it to death together.
We understand. I get it. I understand the circumstances. So we'll let you off for now. But I do think it's important for your audience that after the show, you go on Facebook Live and you can stand up and you can film it. You can just do it there. Covered. Don't worry. We'll do it later.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Justin Ashley, I think it's important for your audience that you figure out what background you're going to have. I don't know how many times I've interviewed you and you got the different background every time. So when are you going to get the same background?
Listen, I'm a busy man.
That you are.
Listen, I have a few different backgrounds. I have the background in my main office outside of my home. I have the background in my office inside my apartment. Sometimes I have the background, the hotel that I'm at, depending on the racetrack that I'm at. But you're always going to get me, right? It's always me in front of the background. So that part always stays the same.
And you're wearing a really good looking shirt. So.
That's right. That's right.
So that's not changing.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Smart Sanitizer shirt, right? It looks great. It looks great. It looks great on the racetrack. It looks great on TV. I really, really enjoy the colors.
The design is awesome.
Yeah, the colors work out very well. The car looks great. It's got that look fast while sitting still stance to it now, definitely. So, it's good for a race car to have that look for sure.
I know when I saw the car and the whole Justin's team lined up with the shirts, that was a money shot.
There you go. So what's the next race, Viktoriya? I mean, you going to carry out the whole season now or what?
Yes. Well, next race at Epping, I'm actually sending my Smart Sanitizer team there to make them excited. So they when they're talking to customers, they're like, oh my God, they're all like, excited to work for us and to be part of everything. So I'm sending them with my husband, not kids. The kids said, well, it was raining last time. No, but they were very excited. And my son actually, he even by the end of the day, he's like, I actually want an autograph from Justin. So he was really cute. He went and Justin did autograph. No, he's very excited about it. But we will probably with kids go sometimes towards the end, maybe in the fall, since they're very busy. The kids their schedule is packed. But no, I'm going to Europe, unfortunately, to visit my family. But next race in Ohio. So, we're going to win Ohio because I'm going to be there. So I better be there when we win. But no, I'm very excited. I'm going to be on most of them, probably on all of them, except Epping. Which is nearby here, unfortunately, fortunately, but unfortunately I'm away. So very excited to be at all the races. I actually got super into it. So, I'm going to be a racing girl, a racing fan for sure down the road, and yeah.
So Viktoriya, for you and for your company, Lee's got this thing going on called Why Not Drag Racing. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for you to speak on it. From someone on the outside looking in, a business that was like, you know what, we're going to take this chance in getting to racing. Why was it what hooked you as a company to come into drag racing and to partner with Ashley? And for any company that's out there, can you explain to them why they should be a part of drag racing?
I mean, have you been at the starting line? Like excitement of the car taking off. I mean, that's actually that feeling that you get there. You can explain. But no, when I met Justin, I actually, when we start talking about racing and our product, I just felt like mutual bond that we the potential that we can build together our business and partnership and successful partnership. And it just the whole idea, it seemed really right for us. To reach different audience and to be part of the NHRA family and to know more about racing. We are, as you guys know, we are already part of the NASCAR racing with the Rick Ware racing team. So we decided why not to be part of the NHRA racing as well and just be like supporting racing communities. And as you see, I'm wearing a hat. I'm pretty much very into racing, racing world. And, Smart Sanitizer is a product that will work well, pretty much for every business. So there's no wrong or right why we got into racing. There are so many opportunities there, of course, and we want to gain, new partnerships, new as I said before, new family that we can, build business with. So it was no brainer to partnership with Justin, and Justin is, as I said, a popular kid on the block, right? So we couldn't be happier to have him as our spokesperson, who's actually super passionate about Smart Sanitizer. So I like to have people on a team who are super determined, super passionate, and just want to go forward and want to win. And we're here to win. We're here to build, our brand, Smart Sanitizer, under our brand to have many other products. As I said, food sanitizer. We came up with a breathalyzer that we just want to keep community a little bit more safer, right? Drunk driving. To have some kind of I'm looking forward, some kind of help, right, for communities with driving, teenager drunk driving. So we came up with a breathalyzer that they can, have it in the bars, and we can promote and maybe partnership with companies like Uber, who can help us to provide services for these teenagers or people who to risk them to go and drive drunk. So we're just super excited to bring new products to the market.
All right, Justin, very quickly, before we let you both go, give us a rundown of your spring nationals. How did the team perform? What were the results? And what are you looking forward to rolling into Epping, New Hampshire?
Yeah, I thought it was an awesome weekend for our team. I mean, top to bottom, everyone did a really good job. We only had that one qualifying session, which made things a little bit tricky, but we were under the same conditions and the same circumstances as all the other teams out there. And we were able to get past a really good Leah Pruitt car in the first round, and ran really well in the second round. Unfortunately, it was a close race, and I think in the future, hopefully we'll be on the other side of that next time. But the team's doing an awesome job. Everybody at Davis Motorsports and Mike Green and all the guys are doing an awesome job. And the truth of the matter is, we would not be in this position we are today without Viktoriya, without Michael Healy, without Tarkin and everybody from Smart Sanitizer. I am so grateful to them to have the opportunity to represent not only them, but their company, because, this product is as good as advertised. It legitimately is that good, because it acts just like Viktoriya said, is a profit center. You can disinfect your phone, your keys, your wallet. You can sanitize your hand. You can take your temperature and grab a mask. But if you're a business out there and you're looking to have safe customers, healthy customers, but also healthy profits, just take a look at Smart Sanitizer. That's the kiosk to check out right there. So just proud to have the opportunity to represent that company, and looking forward to sharing many victories together on and off the racetrack.
Well said. You see, that's why we have Justin as our spokesperson. That's why Justin is with me on the interview.
We're a team. We're a team. We're a team. We're in this for the long run, and we're doing it together.
Thank you so much, Justin. And I said, as I said, I'm super excited to partnership with, on personal level, on business and everything. Just the whole energy, the family, amazing.
Thank you.
All right, Justin. One more question for you. The river that you guys had flowing through the pits, can you, we talked about at the beginning of the show of, people saying they had bad pit spots, but at the front of your pit spot, more so right at the end of your car, your bottom end guy had to lay down in all that water. Do you think that helped or hurt the mullet?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I think the critical parts of the mullet is probably based on the conditioner, the shampoo and the conditioner more so than anything else. I think the mullet just soaks it in. But listen, right? The kiosk, the smart sanitizer kiosk is attractive. And you also have to have an attractive team. And I think part of having an attractive team is having a guy on the team who has a mullet. It's just part of the deal. So I think that, it kind of stunk that we were stuck in the rain a little bit, but we got some sanitizer dancing in there, right? And we also got some cleanliness for Greg Lynn's mullet there. So we made the best out of it.
Yeah. You never know. He might not have washed it in a while.
Survive the flood, survive the rain, survive the race. It's good to go to the next race.
Definitely.
We're going.
We're going. Exactly. Moving forward.
Hey, Justin, if you get a win at the U.S. Nationals, I think it's time for you to grow out the mullet. I think that would be a great fit.
Listen, that may have to be passed by and approved by Viktoriya before I go ahead and do anything like that. She's the one who knows about fashion, not me. So I will tell you this: if and when we do win the U.S. Nationals, you'll see a lot of smart sanitizer dancing going around in the pit area. That much I can tell you.
You need to throw a GoPro.
Say just one exciting news that we actually just signed off. We are gonna be in Las Vegas. We're gonna have a party in Las Vegas. No, not a party, but we are doing a trade show in Las Vegas, October 3rd to 6th. So it's beer distributors, lots of beers, lots of sanitizing. So please visit us. Before I forgot that. That's important part. Las Vegas, party time with Smart Sanitizer.
Sounds good to
Can't
me.
beat that. Party and safety and advertising all in one.
And there's a breathalyzer to keep drunk people driving, to make sure they're not drunk to drive.
Yep. And of course, your dad dropping the knowledge there. 816 people use the sanitation machine down in Houston. That's great that you guys can track that, and that 816 people came up and used it because, like it said, it caught their eye. So again, to you two, thank you for jumping on tonight and the great product. And like I said, we will see you guys at the track soon. So best of wishes. And Viktoriya, you guys got a lot of exciting news coming out. So we will be keeping our eyes peeled. And everybody that's out there watching, go and like the Facebook page, support Smart Sanitizing as they support what you love. And that's a great racer in Justin Ashley and the NHRA. So we couldn't be excited and happier to have you guys on to talk about this product.
Yep. Thank you, Viktoriya.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, bringing us on the show. Really appreciate it. I have so much fun always with you guys.
Thank you, Viktoriya. We appreciate it.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
Justin.
You guys.
Yeah. What are we gonna do with you? I don't know. I mean,
we will sanitize.
Yeah, we'll do a sanitize dance. There we go.
We will party in Las Vegas.
Guys,
bye, guys.
All right.
Y'all have a great night. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Sam, man, good show. It's almost
Great show.
Power 2 hour. And
Power to the hour.
Yeah. It's been a good one. It's been a long one. But we had
Safari's on the track. Glenn has called and said, man, we got to shut this thing down. We've got people from the top end saying, hey man, let's go.
Dude, this show, like we're beyond the farmer's front yard in Columbus, Ohio, beyond the shutdown at this point. Like we have hopped the sand pit, the fence. We're out, we're on down the road in Dayton, Ohio at this point from Columbus. That's how far it's gone. But hey, great show nonetheless, man. I don't know who I'm going to have yet on my show for Thursday night, but who do you got for your podcast coming up?
I think I got one of your friends on my show Wednesday that you set up.
Okay.
So let people know who's going to be on that show.
So it's going to be Mr. Doug Foley.
Mr. Doug Foley. And guess what else I'm doing, Lee? I'm switching it up. I'll be live tomorrow night. I got to set it up exactly with Mr. Foley, what time we're going live, but we will be live for probably the third time on my show. I'm switching it up every once in a while, doing a live feed, but that is over at Outlaw Performance ENT on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Click that like, click that share. Follow Lee, the Monday Morning Racer, on all platforms. That's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever else he's got.
Right.
But yes, go over and follow him.
I do not have an OnlyFans page. I do not.
Oh, dude. Well, with that being said, you can follow us on all of our social medias. That is the Competition Plus Power Hour. We are on all your major podcast forums. We are on email, powerhourcp@gmail.com. Send us your questions. If you guys got any questions that we haven't answered yet, please let us know. We are interactive with you guys every Tuesday night. We will be here live. Rain, sleet, or a little bit of sunshine. Who knows what's going to happen? But if we're live, we want to interact with you guys. These are fun shows, packed filled with information. Drivers, get to know them outside of what you see at the track. To Mr. Bobby Bennett, we will probably have him on next week to do a get off of my track rant. Who knows if he has one? We'll kind of catch up with him. But Lee, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. It's been a nice show.
Good show.
But to all the people out there, you can listen to these back on all your major podcast forums. Again, go and like everything that the Monday Morning Racer does. I am Slammin' Sam, a part of Outlaw Performance ENT. Lee, it's been an honor and it's been a pleasure, but I'm sick of looking at your face, brother. I'm going to smash that. Yeah. I'm pulling the parachutes, and it is time to go home. Peace, love, and a little bit of smart sanitize.